What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Phil Collins. And we're returning to the hits compilation. Thank you again to Michaela. And the next one in the playlist is Two Hearts. So my assumption in advance is that this relates to two hearts in an emotional, interpersonal / romantic sense. And maybe they're coming together, maybe they're differences, maybe they're splitting apart, perhaps all of those things across the course of a narrative in time. But yes, I am imagining this does not relate to the pumping and regulating of blood, but rather hearts in a psycho-emotional sense, and maybe particularly in the context of a romantic relationship. So let's see what it is in practice. This is Phil Collins. The tune is Two Hearts, and it's included on his hits compilation. Hey, more Motown vibes? Well, I don't know if this was released around the same time as his cover of You Can't Hurry Love, but it makes perfect sense to put this after that on the hits compilation here. And again, thank you to Michaela for sending this. But yeah, because it very much has like a 60s Motown Detroit music vibe to it in multiple aspects of the sonics. Like one, just the rhythm, the brightness of it, the sing-songy nature of the chorus, the backing female vocals. Again, it really feels like this could be a tune from a, four-person singing group from the Motown label in, the early to mid-60s. It really has that vibe. And lyrically, it seems like that too. The idea that, two hearts but they're so joined, they have one mind, and even if they end up being apart from each other, she knows that they'll be together till the end of time. Their hearts are beating as one together, so it just has that devotional quality that a lot of vintage, like classic Motown songs have. So yeah, I really enjoy that. Again, I'm a big fan of that like classic early 60s Motown sound, and this is very much in that vein. I also love how about halfway through, Phil really kicked up his vocal delivery. It was, still compelling, and it has his melodic quality in the first half, but then he gave it a little more heat, a little more passion in the latter half of the tune. So I enjoyed that in particular. And right at the end, he was sort of singing in like polyphonic, different rhythm from, the backing singers and the instrumental melody. So I enjoy the playing with the configuration as the tune moved toward the fade out. Again, I enjoy the production. It did sound like classic 60s Motown, but you can tell it was like slightly more modern production. It like something about the bass, it had this low key, like actually deep and wicked bass line, but everything was so bright on top of it that it was not easy to notice how low and rough the bass line actually was. I enjoyed the string flourishes. There was like a chime sort of, melodic rhythm to the tune. So yeah, it was put together like a classic piece of vocal pop music, and I once again very much enjoy Phil's actual vocals on the tune. So yeah, it's a cool track, and it's interesting because again, there's a couple tunes from him excuse me, from his solo work and from his time in Genesis that I was aware of going into this, but the large body of his catalog I've never heard before, and I'm intrigued by the stylings of what I've heard so far. So yes, looking forward to the rest of this compilation. Thank you again to Michaela. Let me know what you think of this one, and I will see you next time. Peace.